Nice.
This Melanie. And wait to speak. Melanie, can you speak?
I can speak, yeah.
Okay, Dankeschön. Just to test. War nur ein Test. Dankeschön, Dankeschön. Okay. So that works.
Good morning, guys. We are live here on YouTube, and we are also on Discord. If you want to get into the Discord where you can ask questions with your voice, there won't be any background noise today. We promise you that. The link is pinned here in the chat. You guys can head on over, and we can answer all your questions and go over the training today. So just let me know if you guys have any questions here on YouTube. I'll also be monitoring the questions on Discord, and you can also ask questions in real time using your voice. Use the link that's pinned here in the chat if you want to get there, because it is a separate room that not everyone is going to be able to speak at the same time, so that way we have an orderly meeting today. If you guys don't catch it right now, you're watching this as a replay, then obviously you can always DM us later on if you have any questions in the Discord, that is. All right, so Armand, are we all good? Everything is, we're copacetic?
Yeah, anyone who has questions or anything, please, or want to speak, add me in the chat, like in this voice chat. Just add me, say hi, I want to speak, or I have a question. I will give you the stage. I will have a list on the side, and then we go from there. Everything else, yeah, smooth. You have the stage.
Yeah, also I believe there's a raise your hand feature. If you raise your hand, Armando will find you and he'll give you access to speak once we open up for questions. Is that correct, Armando?
Yes, there's a request to speak.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and we're good. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and let's start the masterclass really quickly with just a recap of what we talked about yesterday, and we'll go over these topics really quickly. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because that resource will be available for you guys to check out on your own at your own convenience. So first, I want to start with, let's see if I can. I am going to share my screen, I believe. Let me do that now. Windows. Let me share this. All right, so I think we should be good. Can you guys see my screen right now? You guys can all log in to see that screen? Perfect.
No, we see the Discord.
You see the, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure you see the Discord, right? Perfect. All right, yeah. That's what I need you guys to see first is the Discord. So in the Discord, we're going to slide over to the channel that says Smooth Trader Concepts. In the Smooth Trader Concepts, this is going to be your go-to resource for any new content we release, any new functionalities we release, or any bugs that we may be working on or fixing, or any new features we may be adding to the Smooth Trader Concepts trading system. You guys will all see them here. You'll also see the invite links if you guys want to participate in the trial while it lasts this month, or if you just want to go ahead and test it for 30 days once the trial is over. You guys will have links in this description, in this channel as well. But real quick, before we jump into the real reason why you guys are here, we need to understand what we're going to be looking at. So these are some of the functionalities that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, these are the definitions, so let's just go ahead and dive into them. First, we're going to talk about these pump and dump levels that have been working really well for a lot of us. It's a pump and dump level is basically a very strong support and resistance level that I would have not been marking out on my chart otherwise. Some of them, they do coincide with some key levels, but some are just eerily strong, and they eerily work for some reason or another. And we'll go through some examples in our charts, and I'll show you guys exactly what we mean by that. Okay, then we have our KCLs and KCSs. These are red flags alerting you that, hey, there could be a long or a short coming in pretty soon, because these indications show up once you have crossed over from a red wave to a green wave in momentum, or from a green wave to a red wave in momentum. What that symbolizes is there is a powerful buyer or buyers in that price range that are willing to absorb price in either direction. So if we're moving into a upwards direction and we see a KCL, we start getting a green wave. That means there's a buyer that's really strong, that's passively absorbing all the market sellers. And then when we move to the downside, we get a red wave where we'll see a KCS, which means sellers, there's an active seller that's willing to sell the price, even though there is a active aggressive buyer. There's a passive seller that's willing to take on all of that and continue holding price or pushing it lower. So these don't automatically mean that we're going to roll over or pump. They just mean that, hey, heads up, start looking for an entry pretty soon. And we'll go into some examples. The power long and the power short, this is a really dynamic way of finding entries that are based not just on, willy-nilly levels. These are not lagging indications to get into a long or short. These are a lot of times going to be the best entries and possible exits on trades, because they utilize absorption from the delta, which means that this is showing that buyers are getting really strong against sellers, or sellers are getting really strong against buyers. So we'll go into this, and all the definitions are available in this channel, by the way. We'll add more definitions as times go by as well. Then we have the delta trap. The delta trap is basically a structure in the delta. For a lot of people who don't understand what delta is the difference between buyers and sellers in a given candle. It's different in volume, but it's also measured like volume, but it's different in volume. And we'll get into some of those differences while we show you the screen, while we show you the charts. Then we have our ORBs, or ORB, which stands for opening range breakout, or IB, which stands for initial balance. Some people use these interchangeably. That's why we have them both here. What this is, these are levels that are going to be automatically marked out for you depending on what time frames you would like to use. What this does is it measures the highest and the lowest that the price has gone within a certain amount of time. Now, initially, I thought this was all mumbo jumbo, and I didn't think this is ever going to give us any kind of edge or advantage. But after putting it on my screen, after a couple of our traders who kept mentioning it, I put it on my screen and I found that price respected these levels incredibly well. We have a 15-minute and we have a 1 minute that I usually use, but you guys can customize it to make it anything. You guys can use a 1 hour or 2 hour, 30-minute, 10-minute. It's all customizable. But I've found the greatest success with the 15-minute and the 1 hour. We'll get into examples with that as well. Then we have a momentum volume wave, which is a custom indicator that we included into the package that really gives you an idea when price is going to either start changing direction, based not just on momentum, but also taking volumes in consideration as well. So we use a custom VWAP and a custom EMA in order to create these waves. And you have three options. You can use an aggressive wave, which changes price direction quicker. Moderate wave, which kind of is middle of the road and doesn't change price so quick, but not so fast either. And then we have a very conservative wave, which will give you the slowest moving directional change. But for some people, that might be better, because sometimes the market gets a little choppy and we start to think that market's changing direction when it really doesn't. So you may want to alternate between these on any given days. If the market's moving really nicely, maybe we use an aggressive wave. If it's moving really, really slow and choppy, then maybe we go to a conservative wave, and that'll save your accounts. A lot of times when we don't start to get so flippy-floppy or wishy-washy on where the price is going and in what direction. Then we have the ATR, which stands for the average true range, which basically gives you the average size of the candles on a given look-back period. This helps a trader by knowing how big their stop should be, because you can use a multiple of what the average range of a candle is. That helps a lot of traders. And you can also use this to measure whether you want to be trading or not. When the average true range is very, very big for a given time period of the day, maybe like the opening around 9:30 in the New York Open, usually you get some really big volume spikes in there. So sometimes the ATRs get as high as they've been doing recently, up to 20 on the 1 minute ATR, average true range on the 1 minute, sometimes gets to 20. That's really high. During the tariffs, we were seeing 40, 50, 60 ATRs on the 1 minute, which is crazy. So what the ATRs do is they help you size accordingly. So when you have very high ATRs, maybe you want to size down. Maybe you want to use micros. And when your ATR is really, really low, that means that the market's really moving very sluggish, very choppy, and you may want to size up, or you may want to stay out of the market altogether. And you may just want to call it a day, because on low ATR days, those are days that accounts do get hammered and they get murdered. So we'll show you exactly where the ATR is on the chart, so you can always keep an eye on that as well. And then we're going to talk about delta absorption. Delta absorption is something you'll hear me say a lot, which basically means that the buyers are absorbing the sellers, or the sellers are absorbing the buyers in terms of delta. Okay, and the delta is the difference in the market buyers and market sellers. So we'll go over that in just a little bit. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into one of our charts, and I believe I may want to jump into a 5-minute chart. 5-minute charts give us a little bit more of a look back period. So I think that's what we are going to get started with. Let me see if I can put this in here. All right. All right, you guys can see my chart now. Hermana, can you guys see my chart?
Yes, we can see.
All right, perfect. Very good, very good. All right, so let's just go ahead real quick and look at the first thing that we mentioned in the presentation, which is the pump and dump levels and how well they end up working out. These pump and dump levels, they show up. Let me just open up my, here we go. The pump and dump levels, they show up on your charts when price flips from bullish to bearish. All right, you see the dump level right here. You see a pump level right here, another pump level right here. All right, so these levels, when I first looked at them, I just said, oh, okay, so I see as a dump level, so now we go short. And I see a pump level, so now we go high. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. It's not what it should be used for. I mean, if you find success in it, do it and use it however you like. But what I've noticed that these pump and dump levels are best used for, obviously, number one, letting you know that the trend is changing. That's number one. But number two is they act as really strong zones of support and resistance, right? So let's just mark out a couple of these here after the open. So open was right around here, 930. So we see that we had a dump level right in here. We'll mark this out to the right there. We also had another pump level right down in here. You see the pump level right there. There was a pump off this candle. And then we also had another one right in here, okay? All right, so first of all, we see the dump level here. We haven't come up to visit that yet, so we'll keep that in our back pocket for a minute. Now, price came down, came back up, and then we see that on the way down, we found support off of this pump level. It didn't even break this pump level. It didn't even come down here. So this level here, the pump level, worked out pretty well. This is where you don't just automatically go long. You let price come into this level and you start looking for indications to take longs if that's what your thesis is. So there's one example right there. Then later on in the day, we had this pump here, and then you see the price started to lose a lot of momentum up here. So this would have been a very good place for you to actually take profits and maybe walk away for the rest of the day, because it did get very ugly and choppy for the rest of the day. Could you have made some more money and squeezed some more money out of the market? Absolutely, you could have. But, that's also another thing that you have to ask yourself: how long do you want to be in the markets for? The longer you're in the markets for, the more opportunities you have to make mistakes and give some money back. So if you would have taken profits here at the very tip of our dump zone, you would have done pretty well. And if you would have stuck around for another couple of hours, you really would have only profited another 16 to 20 points, which I don't know if that'd be worth it for you to spend that much time just for an extra 15, 20 points. So these pump and dump levels are very good indications of places where you should be looking for trend changes, or you should be looking for possible support and resistance. Now, let's back up for a minute. There's a dump level right here. You guys see it right there? And this red wave, there was a dump level. Now, this dump level, why is it that on this dump level, it didn't hold, right? Now, they're not all going to hold. But what I will tell you is that a very high percentage of the time, when price gets past a pump or dump level, it's pretty much going to run. So this is an added indication for you that once it gets to a certain pump or dump zone and we break through it, that means that, hey, we've taken out any resistance that we've had in this area, and we're probably going to make a run for it, okay? Back test it, use it yourself, and you can see that this is happening a high percentage of the time. All right, cool. Now let's move on to the next one, which is a KCL or a KCS. So let's go with the KCL right here. As you guys can see, let me just put a little arrow on it so I can keep you guys kind of on the same page. We have the KCL right here. Again, the KCL is the first absorption candle after we've crossed over on this trend. We have a red wave, which is a negative bearish trend, and we're crossing over into a green trend or a green or a green wave. Now, some people will wait for this indication to get long, or maybe this will be a secondary opportunity for you to get long. And I'll show you how you could have used this in just a second as a profitable trade. So we've already made a huge run to the upside. Now we got a KCL that's a little bit too late for my comfort. Why? Because right after the KCL, we got a PL, which is power long. But I've told you 1,000,001 times, I am not taking any power longs into resistance. So instead of taking that power long into resistance, I said, this is giving me a red flag saying, hey, we're probably going to continue going higher because there are buyers in this range of price that are willing to support price at this level. So what I was looking for was a pullback into a secondary run. So we got that pullback right in here, came back down, and then we saw a green diamond here, which means there's aggressive buying. This is high volume to the upside. So this could have been used as an opportunity to get long here after we had this pullback into the wave. Strong push up. If we go down into the 1 minute, we'll see that there was also absorption candles in here as well. But when you scale out to higher time frames, you're not going to see as many granular signals as you do on smaller time frames. So this high volume candle on a 5 minute is a really good indication for me that this market wants even higher. As you can see, we did go up higher. Price came back, retested the buyers in this candle to see if they're still strong enough and willing to keep price above. And they did. So this is a high probability trade because number one, we're in a green wave. Number two, we already had a KCL, which means there's limit buyers in this market that are willing to hold price up. And if we just look over to the left, we see that there was also a limit buyer here that was willing to hold price up. So between all of these indications, this would have been a good trade to continue higher in this case. Even though we didn't get the best of price action on Friday, it was still a good indication. I could back up to Thursday's price action and probably give you better examples. Now, some people would say that, hey, this would be my KCL. I like this KCL better, even though it doesn't say KCL on it. We all know it doesn't have that. But what I will tell you is if we look at the red wave and we see how much it's pinching off by this point, you can almost forecast that this is going to work out because it looks like buyers are trying to get this trend to change and head back up to at least this level, which is the 15-minute IB, which we'll get into in a second, or this 1 hour IB, or maybe even the high of the day, which we never, or overnight high, which we never tapped on Friday. So some people could say, you know what, I'll use this as my indicator of a KCL, but the system is programmed to only give you a KCL after the wave has turned green. If you saw this and then you took the power long off of this one, you would have done well. You would have grabbed maybe 30, 40 points on this move. Not a bad entry at all still. But we were able to find some even better entries down here because on the 1 minute, we did find some absorption happening here. And we were able to capture the majority of this move here. Some traders held it even longer and you guys did even better. So that's how a KCL would work. I'll show you a quick example of a KCS. We'll head on to Thursday's price action. And I'll show you an example of a KCS and how powerful they can be. Let's see if we can get data from here. Can we? It's not far back enough. Okay. Maybe I'll go into a different asset. I'll probably have to go into a different asset. I don't like overnight price action too much. Yeah, overnight price action is not the best, but let me see if I can find something that was maybe dumpy in the last few days. I think the YM might have had some downward price action. Okay, oh, here's something. We've had nothing but pumping recently, so here's something. Maybe I can find an example on the euro dollar. Okay, well, here we have an example of us crossing over from the green bullish area to a red wave. And after we get that crossover, we see that we finally find our first opportunity here of a KCS. And this killer crossover short opportunity here is a little bit kind of already, the price has already kind of come down a bit. But we see that there was one here. There was an opportunity to get in short on this absorption candle versus this one, but we didn't have the crossover yet. All right, so if we're going to be patient and wait for it, we see it here, and then we see the power short come up immediately right after. It did give us a profitable trade. And for some of you who do turn on the feature that is real time, which shows you the power short being created as the candle is being formed, or if you want to keep it on real time, which means that, or if you take the real time option off, which won't give you the PS until the candle is completely formed, I'd rather wait for the candle to form. But as you can see, this for me was a little bit too late to get back into this trade, but it still did give you a bit of a winning trade there. But what I would do at this point is I would wait for price to come back up again into the wave and give me a secondary power short opportunity, which it did right here. And then this would have been a much better trade for me and would have given us, you know, a decent trade to the downside on the Dow there. Not the biggest winner of our lives, obviously, but they pop up and they're there. Maybe I can give you a better example on Bitcoin because it's been dumping pretty hard. Yeah, here we go. These are beautiful examples on Bitcoin. So after we get into the red wave here, we get a KCS here. We get a move back into the cloud right around here, as you can see. And the rest has been history on Bitcoin. It has been to the downside pretty heavily. So those are the opportunities that you have to keep your eyes on when it comes to KCSs and KCLs. They're not, hey, short with your eyes closed. Sometimes those work out, but that's not the way that I intended to have them being used. But that's the way it is. Now, let's look at some of the PLs and PSs, power longs and power shorts, and how they're not all created equal. First of all, you got to remember your number one rule is you never want to go into a power long at the top of a move. You see the PL right here. There's a PL right there. Bitcoin's ripping. We're above the green wave, the green momentum wave. Bitcoin's ripping, and we get a power long signal here. Do we want to take that? Probably not, because it's not going to be the highest probability trade. Can you make some money on it? Probably, but if you're looking for the highest opportunity to make money, we want to ignore these. We want to ignore these at the top, and we want to look for them at the bottom of a move. Okay, the bottom of a move would be when we get a retracement back down into a green wave, like for instance, maybe here on this opportunity here where we had a little bit of a pullback, then maybe here we go for a long, but that's not the best example either. Let me see if I can find a little bit better one for you. So, all right, this is a really good example here of a power long because the market has moved down and given us a pretty big drop here on this situation. We had high volume to the downside, and then we had the absorption, and we had power long. So this gave you a pretty good run to the upside. Now, if we're looking at a massively green market where let me see if I can find some, Bitcoin's been dumping for a while now, so it might not be a great idea. Maybe I'll show you the power short opportunities now, since market's been so heavy. So I'll show you some of these power short opportunities. So power shorts are the same thing. You don't want to take power shorts at the bottom of a move. You don't want to take them when they've already run to the downside quite a bit. You want to take them when you have the pullbacks into the wave. So for instance, here we're in a red wave. We're in a pretty decent red wave here. We see that we had a manipulation attempt to the upside here by this green candle. So we're now coming up. We've come up pretty strong. And then once you look at this candle right here, this doji was an absorption candle. It's light pink. That means the sellers were absorbing buyers. And then immediately right after, we got this PS, power short. So this is a high probability trade. I would take this all day long because it has all the things I look for. It's going with the trend. It's given us a manipulation into the cloud. It's given us absorption, and then it's given us a signal that sellers are winning this battle here. And then we take that trade and it runs and it does really well. and it comes all the way, to wherever you think you should be taking profits. You could always move out to the higher time frames and see where it is for you. Good place for you to take profits. That's I can't really tell you how to trade. I can only tell you what levels would work for me. All right, so that's what you got to look for when you look for power longs and power shorts. Don't just take them willy-nilly. Don't take a power long just because you see it randomly somewhere in a chart. You want to look for it being manipulated. Number one, you want to make sure it's not at the top or bottom of a move where it's facing resistance or support, and it's not just somewhere with no other key factors working for it. So we had a big move down here. We had high volume to the downside where we get the absorption, and we get a power long here. As you can see, this one moved up a bit here. All right, so you got to really be careful, and price a lot of times it will give you the trade, and then it'll give you one more pullback. So sometimes we're not wrong to the move. We might just be a little bit early, and that's where you have to practice good risk management so you can make up for your winners when you have small losses. Next thing we want to talk about is a delta trap. A delta trap is something that I've been talking about for a very long time. You guys have heard me say it, and it's something that I look for because it's a pattern that occurs in the price very often. So yesterday I gave you some examples of delta traps on the 5-minute chart on NQ. If you guys want, I could do it on gold. I can do it on any asset. So let me just head on over to gold and see if I can find some examples here. Okay, so on gold, I'm going to point out to you here two obvious ones. One here and one here. For those of you who can't see that well, I'm going to make it a little bigger. You guys see all a delta trap is an anchor candle, which is a big delta candle, a difference in buying and selling at market rates. Okay, so market buyers and market sellers, aggressive buyers. This is the difference. Very aggressive sellers here, slightly less aggressive buyers here, but very strong still. And then here, very aggressive buyers. And then this trigger candle gives you somewhat still strong buyers, but not as much as earlier. And it looks like this was an attempt to possibly make a second run without as much cooperation. If this candle would have been bigger than that one, that means to me that, hey, these guys are just going to go all day. They're just going to keep ripping. Okay. So that's what I look for when I'm looking for a possible reversal. Now, it doesn't happen on the very next candle. It could sometimes, but it's just another confirmation and indication that, hey, you should keep your eyes open because something might happen. So for instance, on gold on Friday morning, 9:10 a.m., we see that we had the initial first move down on this candle, high delta to the downside. Right afterwards, we saw that the market made a second attempt to come back down with not that much cooperation as much as we had earlier, and they successfully swept the liquidity by the stop losses that was initially put in by the buyers who tried to get in too early. So basically what a delta trap represents is an attempt of the market to continue going in the same direction, but it fails to, but it does successfully take out liquidity. When we see that, we don't just go long, we keep this in the back of our mind and we start looking for other key factors. Okay, number one key factor, are we in the green wave? Check. Good. Are we getting manipulation to the downside? Check. We have 150% high volume to the downside here on this candle. Are we finding absorption? Not yet. We found absorption right here. So right here at 9:50 a.m., we found absorption. And on the very next candle, we got a power long signal. Now, if you would have went wrong, yeah, I sound like a little Chinese guy. If we would have went long right here on this, you would have caught a very nice trade on gold. Gold ran up significantly after that, about $21, I guess you would call it. And then we started to see the exact opposite happen when we got to the top of the range. We saw that we had a high volume candle to the upside, you see here. So we have the volume coming now, going strong. Then we start seeing absorption, and then gold just kind of goes sideways for the rest of the afternoon with a little bit of profit taking. That's basically what happened. But this was your move. This was your move of the day. And that's how you would use a delta trap as additional confirmation. And now I marked out this delta trap for you here, even though the candle ended here. It doesn't have to reverse right away. It does sometimes take up to 3 candles for it to even, consider reversing. So one, right here, 1, 2, 3 candles after the delta chart's been put in would bring us to right about here. And as you can see, right around there is when the markets kind of start to sell off. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time, guys. So just keep your eyes open for those kind of things, because it's important to understand that one thing should not get you into a trade. It should be a series of confirmations that make you very confident about a trade you want to take in either direction. Now, while we're on here, we'll talk about the orbs. An orb is an opening range breakout or initial balance. So this level up here, this is our 1 hour orb, this blue level, because this is the highest price made it before 10:30. So by 10:30, the price had only reached here. So for the rest of the day, it did serve as resistance. Price never really broke it for the rest of the day. Now we have underneath us, this is the highest the price ever went in the first 15 minutes of the trading day. So after this broke out, as you can see, some people use this as a breakout trade. So once it broke out over the 15-minute range, some people are like, wow, we found support above the 15-minute range on this candle right here. So because of that, it's called an ORB, opening range breakout. So when it broke out of here, a lot of orb traders went long, and bang, there you go. You got a great trade, another confirmation right there. And then this white line down here serves as the lowest the price went in the first 15 minutes or the first hour. Since there was nothing lower than this price here at 9:30, we didn't need to put in a secondary line, because this same line will serve for the 15-minute and the 1 hour low of the day. Okay. Now our MV wave, this momentum volume wave here, this is something that I created because I always found myself getting on the wrong side of trades. Always. Fighting the trend, fighting the trend, fighting the trend. So what we did was we created 2 trend indicators, the wave, which you can keep on or off your screen if you like, and also the heat map on the candles, which turn your candles from red to green. As you can see on my chart, you can also color that any color scheme you want. So we have 2 trend indicators telling us, hey, what should we be looking for? We should be looking for longs because we're in a green trend. We're in green candles. We should be looking for longs, and we do. Now, this momentum, like I said earlier, this momentum volume wave can be changed if you like. We can go, and right now I think it's set on moderate, but we can change that to aggressive if we want it to be, if we want it to change quicker. I think, yeah, you can see there, you can change quicker. Or if we want it to be more conservative in a very choppy market, we can keep it green longer or red longer. So depending on how you want to use it or what kind of trader you are, what kind of market conditions we have, you can change that at your convenience, at your beck and call. Now the ATR, very simple. We spoke about that earlier. You'll always find your ATR up here. This will tell you how much the market is moving. If you're trading euro dollar, I think euro dollar right now might not be. Let's look at Bitcoin. Right now you see Bitcoin on the 15-minute. Right now the average true range is 94. On the ES right now on the 5-minute it's 2.7, or that when it closed on Friday. On the Nasdaq it was 2.5 when it closed on Friday. These numbers will be much bigger during the open and during the close, but always keep your eyes on this because this will keep you out of trouble. And lastly, the delta absorption, which is these candles that you see here, these yellow candles or these pink candles right here. You can customize them to be any color you want. I just chose these because they stick out the most. As you can see, when we have a big move to the downside like we did right here, we got this delta absorption candle. It absorbed. These were buyers that were limit or passive buyers. Just because they're called passive buyers, don't think they're weak, because passive buyers, almost like a sleeping giant, they could absorb price to the point where they hold the price up like a brick wall, and then aggressive buyers step in and take over. So basically this is telling us a story. We had high manipulation candles to the downside. Then we had this brick wall we hit in the form of a passive buyer. And this passive buyer was able to hold the price just long enough for his buddies to come over and start buying this up like crazy, as represented here by the delta. The delta tells us that now the aggressive buyer started stepping in and pushing price higher. And because of that, it gave us a big, nice move to the upside. Now the same thing works for seller absorption. When you see pink candles like this, this means that sellers are willing to absorb the price. This limit seller is willing to absorb the price And then his buddies came on over and started helping him push this price down, as you can see here represented on the delta. So that's what absorption is. It's basically delta being absorbed. And you can see that there is a red, there is a, let me give you a better one. Okay, right here. This candle that we saw is absorption. There was a big red candle to the downside, which means that there were more aggressive buyers in the delta, but somehow the buyers, the passive buyers, were able to not only hold them off, but close this candle slightly green. So that was enough, and that was all the market buyers needed to see in order to all jump in and start pushing this thing up aggressively, and then come back in and start pushing this thing up aggressively again. Now, as you can see, these doji candles, in this doji candle here, look at the delta down here. Again, all the sellers were being held off because there was almost no delta at all. And then on the next candle, you see there was a strong hammer candle to the upside. That means that buyers came back in, market buyers came back in and started making price go higher, as represented here on the delta as well. You see all that power that came in, and then we got that move to the upside. So that is a delta absorption. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to allow you guys to jump in here and ask some questions. If you guys are on YouTube right now, watching this on YouTube, and you want to head on over to the Discord, the link is pinned in the chat. You guys can go over there and you'll be able to talk and ask questions. And I'll answer all your questions over here. So let's just go ahead. Armando, let's open up for questions, brother.
Yeah, you just when someone raises.
Yeah, let me.
Or anything, right click and then there's a question.
Yeah, let me go back to that stage. All right. Where do I see people's hands? Show requests. All right. No requests right now.
Right chat.
Yeah, I don't see any requests right now.
No, there's no request. Jeremy Mo, sorry when I butcher your name. Sorry, may have missed it, but what is the difference between yellow and white absorption?
Yeah, I think we just answered that, and I'll go ahead and show it real quick. The yellow is just yellow because I colored it that way. These are buyers absorbing sellers. Just think of that. Buyers are absorbing all that sell pressure, and they're still pushing price higher, even though there is more active, aggressive selling going on. They're still able to push price higher. So when you see a concentration of that, like you see, let me use this. When you see a concentration of that in one area, like for instance, all this area, we see, we see this yellow candle, this yellow candle, this yellow candle, this yellow candle, and we see that they're aggressively trying to push price higher. After we do start seeing price go into a green trend, we know that, hey, these guys were really serious here, and they're probably still there passively absorbing any sell pressure. And as you can see, as we tried to go back lower later on, they did, and they kept price higher, and we pushed up for the remainder of that session. All right, so I think I've answered Geronimo's question there. And the same thing happens on the downside when we have a red day. These active sellers, or these passive sellers, I should say, will also work to try to keep price below a certain level, if that's the momentum that we have for the day. Okay, people are asking questions. I see a lot of people asking questions in the chat, but does anybody want to use their mic and request to speak? Because I don't see anybody requesting to speak. Let me see. We have some people, I guess, asking questions. Let me jump onto those questions. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Amar. Let's see who we have. 9 a.m. Anybody just saying good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, can you put chart on YouTube? Oh, I see the Discord. I don't know what it means. Anmar says Delta Chop is a big gray area for me. How do you even know what volume was for buyers and what volume was for sellers? Anmar? Well, very simple. Very simple.
Amar, if you would like to speak, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah. So I think that question was answered by someone.
Oh, okay.
That in the volume, the candles normally only have a volume, but we need to know like what volume was from buyers, what was from sellers.
Yeah. So the red will always be. And you can change this any color as well. So did I answer your question, Anmar?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another thing is that this whole chart looks too busy. So when we use an indicator, it's like I don't know for others, but for me, it's too busy. So
Yeah.
when we turn off the whole, the huge cloud that it is, so those waves are really good, green and red waves.
Hmm.
But there's another wave behind that wave, which
Yeah.
is kind
Yes,
of,
Yeah.
yes, you can turn that off when you go in settings,
Right here.
and then you turn the VWAP clouds off.
You see it right here? It's off.
oh, okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it looks a bit, now you can see all the
Mhm.
power long, power short, all those
Yeah.
signals a bit better.
Yeah, because and I haven't really talked much about that, but what this is, these are standard deviations. And standard deviations, you can color them any color you want. So let's give it a really wonky color, so that way you guys can see the difference. We'll give it a yellow color for now. Okay, what these are basically, these are bands that tell you how far away you are from the VWAP. The further you are away from the VWAP, the better the longing opportunity. If you're in the downward, the better the longing opportunity is going to be, because price a lot of times loves to head back to the mean. And to the upside, you'll have the same thing. You'll have the bands get in the middle, they disappear, and you see your VWAP. Your VWAP is this yellow band right now. I turned it yellow. Is this yellow band, and as you can see, price loves to go back into that yellow band, right? So the higher you go on price to the upside, the better the short's going to be, because price loves to go back into the band, all right, to the VWAP band. But if you don't like to have a busy chart, easily solved. You just turn this off, whatever you want to do, and that is completely all up to you. All right, good question, Amar. I've never addressed that before, but good question.
Yeah, and another thing is that so we have this indicator, and then we all know that we have a lot of indicators in the market.
Yeah.
So maybe I think it would be beneficial to give like a sample game plan with this indicator. So having an indicator itself is very great, but it's not gonna solve our problems. So what's your typical game plan? Maybe you can have,
Oh, the game plan is super simple. I've
if you
created.
don't have it
Yeah.
now, maybe yeah.
I've created plenty of videos that are on the playlist. I've shown you back testing in there, and I'm going to be releasing more as time goes by. But the game plan is very simple. You can make it your own. The only thing I can't do is I can't tell you how to trade your money. So whatever you want to trade and however you want to trade is fine. I can only show you what works for me. So the game plan is simple. Find a level that you like. So for instance, on Friday, we really like this level because this level in here. Let me just get rid of this right here. We really like this level because on Friday there was a pump level right here. So we highlighted this area. So price came into our pump area here, hung out here for a while. We saw there was manipulation to the downside. Manipulation to the downside right there. Manipulation to the downside here, represented by high volume candles to the downside. Right? So what do we look for is, number one, look for a level you like. Number two, look for the absorption. What direction is the market wanting to go? Well, the market likes to move in waves. We had the red wave, now it's pinching off and it's starting to turn green. So it looks like the longs are probably going to be the better trade here because we're starting to see the green wave and buyers taking over. Now what we saw was price being held at this level, and what we look for right after the manipulation is the absorption. The absorption happened right here, and the rest was history for that day. The market just went to the upside. So the game plan is simple. Find your level, look for manipulation, look for absorption, which is right here, and then take your profits. I can't tell you where to take your profits. I can only tell you this works for me. I'll watch the videos I put out. I recently put out a video where I backtested this on the 5-minute for 2 days straight, and I think the win ratio was in the 90s if you just follow the rules. If you even mess up, you can still do well because your winners should be smaller than your losers. Even if you're at a 50-50 win rate, your winners should be smaller than your losers. You could still make a very good profit if you take rule-based trades, only rule-based trades. Not just because, hey, I see a signal, I'm going. No, you have to have your rules. Level, manipulation, absorption, signal, you go, and the rest is history. Anmar, you have any more questions, or does anyone else want to hop on?
That's it for me. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, Anmar. And I will put more videos out with more strategies as we develop them, or maybe other people from the chat start to develop some. Like Sambi has a really clever one he's been using, he's been crushing it with. All right, super ugly after that. I don't know. Sorry, may have missed it, but what are the difference between yellow and white absorption? And upgrade YouTube. I don't have the delta at the bottom. It shows the bottom panel, but no values. So Byron, send me a DM. Will help you out, because I don't know why you wouldn't. If you upgraded your trading view to the premium version, you will have the delta information. You want to make sure that when you go into your settings, you go down to the CVD, CVD right here, and make sure it's enabled. If it's not enabled, you may not have that chart at the bottom. So enable that, and you'll have it there. That might solve your problem.
Kingdom, I think I missed you hand raising. Yep, I'm ready to speak.
Oh, okay. Byron's good now.
Kingdom, Sam, you just have to unmute yourself, and then you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. God bless you guys.
Hey, man.
If you could pull up your chart again,
Yeah.
because I believe it was Amaran, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize.
Amar, I think it was.
Amaran? Yeah, so, like, two, you see there's, like, a lot of indecision handles where you can get a good bias of being prepared. Because when there's a lot of, like, that indecision candles coming, and like you can see, for example, on Smooth's chart, like most of them are in yellow. You got a few in the pale pink, but like most of them are in yellow. That's telling you to just get ready for some big movements to come. It might take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but be patient. And you see his red arrow. If you go to the left, that not the light pink, but the darker red right there. You see a bunch of indecision candles coming in there. But that's just telling you to get ready. Don't be fooled. And then the big pump is coming, as you can see in the right side, for those, you see all those greenish diamonds coming. So like the indicator does work, but you have to mess with it. Don't use your money yet. Simulate it.
Yeah.
Or what they call a paper trade.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can get used to your tools. You got to know your tools to be a good assassin, a good entry, And then once you practice more and more, you start getting used to it, and then you can make a good, educated decision when you have your confirmations and momentum that you need. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you, Sambi. I really appreciate it. And Sambi has been crushing it just using the diamonds. He doesn't even go as nitty gritty as I do with the volume and all that other absorption stuff. He looks at the diamonds, and he uses the diamonds in his own way. And he had a day this week. I don't know if it's all attributed to the diamonds, but he said it's helped him. He had a day this week that he hit almost 20K, or he made 20K on the day, which is crazy. And that's real money. This guy's trading his own cash, not prop firm money. So congrats, Sambi. Yeah, let's see if we have some more. For those of us that will be using this for the first time, is it possible to show you how to use this signal? How to use a signal while trading live? Yeah, we do it every day, Marion. We use the indicator package every single day while we trade. I always try to warn you guys ahead of time what I'm looking for and what I'm looking at, and I let you know once I'm in a trade. And even if I get stopped out, we get stopped out, we have the little Chinese dog come and laugh at us, and we move on to the next trade. Everything's not going to be 100%, but we are increasing our chances by utilizing, number one, the direction. Being on the right side of the market is half the battle, and then after that, we want to make sure that we implement a rules-based trade approach only, not I feel. Whenever we start feeling, that's when we start giving it up and losing. Yeah, we've been calling it really accurately. On Thursday, when the market was moving really well, man, everybody was having record-breaking days just by following the rules. Any other questions here, guys, or anybody want to speak? What's going on, everybody in the YouTube chat? If you guys want to ask some questions live, go ahead over to our Discord. The link is in the chat. Amar says, I do scalping every day, taking 20, 30 trades. What time frame is good for that? Should we look at 5 and enter on the 1? To be honest with you, scalping is always better on the smaller time frames, but the bigger time frames help a lot because they give you a sense of direction. They give you a really good sense of direction. Let's look at the 5 minute on Thursday. They give you a pretty good sense of direction because let me show you. The signals are gone there. All right, but let's look at here. Let's look at Thursday's price action move. When we start getting signals on a 5 minute, you really want to pay close attention to it. So on Friday, I don't know why it's not coming up now, but on Friday we had, for some reason, I don't know why, sometimes it goes away. On Friday, we had a triple power short. On Thursday, we had a triple power short indication here. And if you guys remember, some of you were trading with us that day, they're alive right now. I kept telling you guys, wow, there's a triple power short right now on the 5 minute. And then you pay close attention to that. And then you go back on if you're scalping, you go back on the 1 minute and you start looking for shorting opportunities, because taking a power short with these 3 signals might force you to have a 30-point stop loss. And that might be too big for some of you. So maybe you go into the 1 minute and you start looking for some pullbacks, and then you start entering on those pullbacks and with smaller stop losses maybe on the 1 minute. And there you go. I mean, the rest is history. You had a massive 230-point sell-off after that. And if you look at the 5 minute, when do you want to get out of a trade? Remember I told you guys this yesterday? Like, people were asking me, what signal do you look for to get out of a trade? Well, now what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for high volume manipulation. So we had it right here. We had the high volume manipulation right there. And then I like to see an absorption candle in the opposite direction. Did we get that? No, we got an absorption candle in the same direction. So then what happened after that? We got more of a move down, high volume right there, manipulation candle down. And what I've come to learn over the weekend, I've been doing some more back testing between yesterday and today, is that a lot of times you might not get the absorption candle after the dump, but you're going to get the opposite direction high volume candle. So we got a high volume candle to the downside here, represented by a pink diamond. And then right afterwards, we got a high volume candle to the upside, represented by this baby blue candle. So this kind of gave you, what this means is that aggressive sellers to the downside, aggressive sellers to the upside. So they hit a brick wall, and those aggressive buyers came right in. There was no intermediary. There was no absorption guy. There was no passive seller. They went from aggressive selling to aggressive buying. So a lot of times we're going to see this, and I missed this trade on Thursday because I was waiting for absorption. But if we go to the 1 minute, we'll see that there was high volume candles to the upside on the 1 minute as well. This then gave you a move to the upside in a range of another 200 points. So you got to learn how to read the chart and learn how to read the volume and learn how to read what works. And don't ignore the 5 minute, because the 5 minute is clutch. 5 minute is very clutch. When it starts to tell you something, pay close attention. The higher time frames, the better. Now, with that being said, let me show you guys something very, very interesting. I'm going to pull up a chart here of the weekly guys. And for some of you guys who might be options traders, check this out. I'm going to show you the weekly right now on the NQ and how you can use this. And let's take the delta off. Let's just look at the chart. How you can use this to play options. And I'm going to start doing the same. Remember back in April where we had that sell-off and the market hit 16,000? Look what we got on the weekly. High volume to the downside. High volume to the downside. Do we see any absorption to the upside yet? No. More high volume to the downside. Do we see any absorption? No absorption, but guess what? Aggressive sellers came in here. Aggressive buyers came in right afterwards. And what happened after that in the Nasdaq? Mo knows because Mo took that trade. 6,000 points to the upside. 6,000 points to the upside, guys. That's insane. Insane. And right now, as crazy as it may sound, there's no reason to think that the market's going to dump. We haven't gotten any manipulation to the upside yet. You guys think, okay, maybe this is just a one-off. Maybe this is just, you're looking at a very selected price range or whatever. All right, cool. That's fine. Let's look. Let's go back to here. Let's go back here. All right, this is 2022. 2022. Look at the high volume candle right there, manipulation to the downside. What do we look for after manipulation to the downside? We look for absorption, which we had one here. And then we came back down a little bit more. Another absorption there. And then we start getting the aggressive buyers coming in. Aggressive buyers coming in. And then the rest after that is history. You start to see, you saw power long here. You see more power longs here. And the market starts ripping. Market starts ripping. Now let's see if we can find some indications in the opposite direction. So right here, market started losing strength. We saw a high volume manipulation candle to the upside. And then afterwards, we start seeing that we are getting a move to the downside, power shorts popping up here, and then the market starts to sell off. Market starts to sell off. Now, remember, when we talk about things like the Nasdaq only goes up over time. It's built that way. So you're going to see a lot better longing opportunities than you're going to see shorting opportunities in the Nasdaq, unless we're able to catch the next .com bubble, which we might be in right now, which is obviously, you guys know, people are saying that it's the AI bubble. But look at this. Back here in 2020, we all know what happened in 2020, right? Market came down to 6,000. We had high volume manipulation candle down, right? And then we saw that we continued down lower. And then right afterwards, we got this absorption candle followed by a power long signal. And the market just took off and rallied, right? Just kept going, just kept going, just kept going. All right, so let's go back to another, maybe we can look at, let's look at 2016. Some of you guys weren't even trading. Neither was I on a full-time basis. All right, so what do we have? Green wave, so we're looking for longs. We get manipulation to the downside right here. Right afterwards, we get, in this price range, we get an absorption with a power long. Bang, market's off to the races. Right here, we got a high volume manipulation candle down. Immediately right after, high volume candle to the upside. Aggressive sellers, aggressive buyers. Market pushed back up. So you got to look for these opportunities in any time frame, whether it's the 1 minute or the 1 month. It doesn't matter. And interestingly enough, I was looking at Bitcoin to see if I should get out of my Bitcoin, short. Then out of my Bitcoin short. And I'll show you real quick that right now, Bitcoin to me looks like it has more dumping to do. Should have shown you this. Okay. Let me show you this on Bitcoin at the moment. We're on the weekly on Bitcoin. Let me go to right now. Okay. Wow. What a pump, right? What a pump. Okay. So we're looking at Bitcoin right now. Check this out. This one's gonna probably make you guys some shekels. All right. On Bitcoin right now, we have gotten a manipulation to the upside starting from here. All of this has been one big pump. Then we got the absorption right here, and we got the power short signal right there, a secondary power short signal right there with absorption. And guess what we're missing for a bottom? We're missing a high volume candle to the downside. Once that high volume candle comes in, it looks like this. Once we see this, and then we see the next trigger, which would be either a high volume candle to the upside or absorption, then I know that the bottom is in for Bitcoin, and I can get out of my short, and I could go long, or I could start buying some of the alts. You know, that's basically what I'll be doing. If we look at more examples, maybe just on Bitcoin, we saw high volume down, high volume up, move went up. Let's look at Bitcoin's bottom right here back in 2022. As you can see, we had this wave into this. We're on a weekly, high volume candles right there. Start to see power long showing up here. If you want to wait for the wave to turn green to be more safe, that's no problem. We could do that. We can wait to see the wave turning green like we do on the lower time frames, and we start to see high volume candles appear here. We start to see a KCL back here. We start to see a power long right there. we start to see absorption, right? I'm sorry, not absorption, manipulation on this candle all the way down, followed by a absorption and power long. This was a beautiful entry at 39,000, and then the market just took off. It just took off. So yeah, on any time frame, no matter what you're looking at, you can find either long-term opportunities or short-term opportunities. You just got to know what to look for. Go back, see if there's any questions. Let me see, people asking for new traders, 36 points, stop loss, and we want to lose. Byron, you don't have the diamonds because you got to watch the videos. You're asking some questions that I addressed in the videos of the settings. So if you don't have the diamonds, you just go down to the section here that says high volume, and then you go on style and you can go to diamonds or bar coloring. You can get rid of your diamonds and make the candles the color of the diamonds instead, and you can get rid of the diamonds. I like the diamonds better. They stick out more for me, so that's why you don't see that. Okay, perfect. You guys are good. You guys are good. Any other questions, guys? Because I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time. It is Saturday. I want to respect you guys. We don't have as many people in the audience as we did yesterday. Had a couple people in the YouTube, but I don't see too many. Wendy's going to ask a question here, or maybe she's going to say something.
I can show my version how I
Yeah.
have my setup. Maybe people are interested in that. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, that's a really good point, guys. If you don't like the way my screen looks because your chart looks totally different, it's 100% customizable. You can turn it into any color scheme and turn anything on and off. And we'll be adding more features to make it more customizable in the future too, as far as like where the diamonds show up. Some people are requesting it to be on top versus the bottom. But yeah, Armando, go ahead and show your screen, please.
I will show a picture. I can't share screen as long as you share.
Oh, let me stop sharing mine then.
Oh no, it's okay. I just shared a picture.
Okay, I have it up.
So I don't have the VWAP band in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the absorption candle showing, and instead the diamonds. I do have the
Color bars.
showing the colors and the color bars. So
I see you highlighted that pump zone down here, and you see how beautifully price came into it on this is what is this, the 3 minute on the ES?
that's the 1 minute,
5 minute
on the ES. Yeah, 5 minute on.
Yeah,
ES.
that's beautiful. It came right to your
I do
level.
trade on the 5 minute,
Mm-hmm.
and it brings you beautiful markers. The 5 minute is for me a little bit slower. It's nicer to trade, and just to show people my day on Friday, I can screenshot my trading from Friday. Where's chat again? Down here. And that was my results on Friday.
Wow, that's killer, brother. I mean, I know you've been having a bit of a hard time like I was in August, and this seems to be a huge improvement.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very good. It's changing a lot of traders' perspective on the market. It's really what it's meant for, is to kind of give you that X-ray vision that sometimes we miss. That's really good, man. Congratulations.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. So last thing I want to leave you with is, if you do want to utilize this, and remember, I don't know if you guys are here for the first time, but I did mention after September, I forget what month we're in already. After September, we will not have the 3-day free trial available anymore. So please take advantage of it by the end of the month, and you'll be able to use it for the 3-day free trial. After that, we are going to only accept people who are going to try it out for 30 days minimum. You could also get 2 months for free if you do pay for a year version versus the month-to-month version. So it's up to you. If you like it after 30 days, you can always go to the yearly plan after that. If you don't like it after using it for 30 days, then feel free to not continue using it and you won't get billed. Just cancel it and you'll be off of it. Very simple. The company I partnered up with, Flux Charts, they're very professional. They've been doing this for a long time, and some of their indicators have, I would say, over 5,000 people using them. Some of their indicators are very, very powerful and very exclusive. And they will be doing something for us in the future where if you want to upgrade for just a few dollars more, you'll be able to get 9 other indicators that they have in their suite. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But in the meantime, you have the most inexpensive indicator that they even carry. All their other indicators are much more money. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I first got started trading, the indicators I paid for cost me a lot of money. I think I paid like $1,500 for Market Cipher, and it was nowhere near as powerful as what I'm showing you now, and it did not have anywhere near as much strategy guides as what I'm giving you now. It was basically figure it out on your own, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, too bad. Not even CryptoFace himself, who's like an incredible trader, not even he would explain how to use it. He would just tell you what trades he was taking, and because of the indicator. So you guys are getting an incredible value, and you can test drive it for very little money. So if it works, great, and if it doesn't, hey, you tried, and that's basically it. All right. Any other questions? I think we're good. Everyone's good. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, guys, if you guys are interested, the link is still available in our Discord. Just go to the channel that says Smooth Trader Concepts and sign up before the end of the month. And if you do, you will still take advantage of that free 3-day trial that you can test this out with no commitment.
Okay, just the last little bit advertisement for us too. We do have an accountability program called STARS, where we go through teaching how to write trading reports, how to do progress reports. You will get a weekly reminder of myself, what I send out if you're doing a good job to be accountable. As well, we have side discussions in our trader circle where we meet once a week and talk about the last week and talk about personal problems. We have threads where we go through for right now we're working on ideas how to fight tilt and FOMO. What can we help each other to be more accountable? There's another group discussion right now that's about the STARS program. And as well, we have the live trading group, what is more like a support group for if you want like to support the Discord. You can join this group by be a YouTube member. You just have to connect then your YouTube with your Discord so that you have access to it, or like Smooth is showing right now, you're joining the live trading group. It's $5 a month, $4.99. What you get with that is, if you want to show the live trading group, you have a live trading group voice channel where in general every day someone is in. I'm trying really hard every day to be in there every morning. There are some people coming at the EU time online as well. We have Bradley who sits in France, who's generally in there early mornings, like European time. We have there a live trading group chat where we discussing certain things. And I am actually working right now on thinking to implement a Smooth supported forum where we can bring some more information and things to learn to help support traders to reach their goals. We know prices are always there. The sad thing is we have to charge for things because we have to eat and we have to run those things, and it costs money to pay for Discord, certain Discord things, and for running a YouTube. And Smooth, I know he's a really fit guy and all that, but we have to feed them once in a while.
I'll disappear.
Some food in his mouth.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you for being here. Smooth, thank you really much for doing this class. We'll talk later, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's much more to come. We're working actually right now on the side on some other projects. One project, what I'm working right now on, is a trading journal for trading reports, especially made for traders, what eventually will be supported by AI as well. So it will be like a trading journal where you can write your trading reports into it, post pictures, and have it better organized to a certain degree. So there are more projects in the making for you guys to top up your trading.
Awesome. All right. I think we're good. Is there any way I can pay for donate for 1 month gift of the indicator? Yeah, we can work that out, Sambi. Just send me a message in the Discord, and we'll give away a month of the indicator to someone. Do I need YouTube Premium? Yeah, you need TradingView Premium to get. You don't need it for the indicator, but you do need it if you want the delta to show, which the delta is a very key part of the indicator, because the delta will control your absorption candles because it's the absorption of the delta. So TradingView doesn't give that data out for anything less than a premium version of TradingView. So unfortunately, yeah, you're going to need it if you really want to reap all the benefits. But I will tell you this much. Given the fact that I've seen traders use this for the first time this week and nail bigger trades than they've ever nailed before and make record-breaking days that they've never made before, I think it's worth the investment. I've said this in every business I've gone into. If you don't invest in your tools, you're not going to be as good as you want to be. You're only as good as your tools. And that works in any industry you're in. You're only as good as your tools. So, and a lot of people have been asking, are we going to ever do this for Ninja Trader? We want to turn a profit first with what we have on the table, and then we'll worry about adding more platforms later on. So if you are a Ninja Trader user and you want to utilize this, it probably will be some time before we get to Ninja Trader. It might be in your benefit to maybe have a subscription to TradingView on the side. Believe me, I have multiple screens or multiple charts open when I'm trading. I look at TradingView, I look at Tradeify, I look at Project X. So you guys will figure out how to multitask if you need to. Yeah, that's awesome of you, Sambi. Thank you for that. Also, shout out to Eagle Eyes, who is going to be donating to the channel too. You guys are going to hear about that next week. He's going to be donating some giveaways, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. All right. I think we're all good, man. I think we're all good. Well, thank you so much, Romana, for making time for us. I know it's really early over there where you are, but thank you for always being supportive and being part of this community, brother, being a staple of the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. God bless.